Joining us from the NBA draft. Who will go number one tonight? Plus, how the Giannis deal got done. What else does Miami have to do? And what is next for Jaylen Brown and the Celtics? SportsCenter. Here we go. We start with that breaking news in the NBA. Shannon reports that the Heat acquired two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Bucks for a load of young talent, including Tyler Hero and a bunch of draft picks, including 3 first-rounders. Boston had offered a deal centered around Jaylen Brown, but Miami won the day. Giannis left his mark on the Bucks. He'll be leaving the franchise as the leader in points, rebounds, and assists. He is one of just 4 players to currently lead a franchise in those 3 categories. The others are LeBron James for the Cavs, Kevin Garnett for the Timberwolves, and Michael Jordan for the Bulls. Giannis will go to Miami with hopes, of course, for winning a championship. That is exactly what he was looking for when he was looking for a team to go to. We'll see if Miami can get that done and what other things they'll need in order to do that. NBA insider Shams Charania joining us now. Okay, so Shams, why did the Bucks ultimately choose this large package of players and picks over Jaylen Brown from the Celtics?
Christine, these were 2 totally different packages, right? When you think about Boston, it was centered around a supermax player who comes with win now responsibilities. And this is the Bucks organization that made a decision and an understanding that they are no longer just trying to compete for a championship. They have to take a holistic approach, a bigger picture approach to team building and sustainability. They've depleted all of their assets, their salary books over the years, just to be able to try to win and compete with Giannis. They felt like this team was a championship contender on the spot. They would have kept Giannis, but now they had an opportunity to go get a haul of draft picks, 3 first-round picks, all unprotected, a far-out pick swap, which could be very valuable, a second-round pick in 2033, and a bunch of players, Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez, as well as Kasparas Giannakis. All 4 players have significant value, believe it or not, Christine, in the marketplace. But the Bucks right now are in their rooms. They want to keep these players moving forward. They'll continue to keep their options open, but this was all about sustainability and long-term growth for a team that is turning the page from the Giannis era.
Okay, so that's the Bucks side and the Miami side. What does the future hold for Jaylen Brown and the Celtics?
Yeah, Christine, there's a lot to sort through in Boston. There's going to be hard conversations to come between the Celtics and Jaylen Brown, because this is now the second time in 4 years that the Celtics have offered Jaylen Brown in a deal. 2022 for Kevin Durant. This year for Giannis. This is after he was Finals MVP. He was a finalist for League MVP as well. My understanding is, as of this hour, the Celtics are listening and engaging with teams, other teams, not Milwaukee, obviously, other teams on a Jaylen Brown trade. He is extension eligible in July, so between now and that point, we're going to learn a lot more about Jaylen Brown's future with the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, and it seems like he wants to be the number 1 on a team, so we'll see what happens there. Let's go to tonight. The Wizards holding all the cards with the number 1 pick overall. What are you hearing about what they may do at 8 p.m.?
The league-wide belief right now is that the Washington Wizards are locking in on A.J. Dibonsa with the number 1 overall pick, but their executives, Michael Winger and Will Dawkins, they have done their research, not only on Dibonsa, but Darren Peterson. They had him in for a visit, full check of his medicals, his on-court basketball work. Cam Boozer as well, the Duke product. He's been under consideration as well. But when you think about A.J. Dibonsa's fit on the wing, we saw Trae Young just yesterday reach agreement on a 4-year, $212 million max contract. That's your point guard, your lead guard moving forward. You have your big man in Anthony Davis. and now a potential star on the wing in A.J. Debonsa, potentially tonight at number 1.
All right, we'll see what happens. Our Jeremy Woo projecting 11 freshmen could go tonight in the lottery. Shams, thank you. All right, here's an early look at the Heat's potential starting lineup for next season. However, a lot of change. Norman Powell is an unrestricted free agent, and Andrew Wiggins has until June 29th to decide whether to exercise his player option. Miami will also be active in free agency as well. For more, send it out to Kevin Negandhi anchoring our coverage in Brooklyn.
Christine, thank you so much. 30 dreams will be realized tonight at the Barclays Center in beautiful Brooklyn. Beautiful afternoon. Again, the sun. It's nice to see that it's out considering the rain that we've had here in the Big Apple over the last 24 hours. Kevin Negandhi alongside our NBA senior writer, that is Brian Windhorst, College Game Day, Seth Greenberg joining us as well. All right, so we've been waiting. We finally got the news. And when you take a look at the Heat's run, it looks like it's still missing some holes, even though they just acquired a 2-time MVP in Giannis.
It kind of reminds me of when they did the big move to acquire LeBron James and Chris Bosh. You know, when they did that, they only had 2 guys under contract. Mm-hmm. They got the big score, and then they had to build the roster, and they didn't really become at their best, frankly, until the second year. So the Heat wanted to get the big star. They've got Giannis. Now they're in a situation where they have 5 roster spots to fill, Kevin, and they only have $18 million to fill it. And that's not below the luxury tax. Like, that's what they want to spend. They are hard capped. This trade triggered a hard cap for them. And so there's more work to do. But Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra have been here before. They have the hard part done. That's getting the top 5 player in the league.
Let's go to the other side here, Seth, because the Bucks, when you look at a draft to have 2 picks in the first round, this is the draft, especially to have it in the top 15. Picking at 10 and 13, where should they focus here when it comes to upgrading the roster?
They've got to hit it out of the park in this draft, because if you're going to give up a player like Giannis, you've got to get a return on that investment, not just the players that you got in the trade. I think there are a couple of guys. I think Morris Johnson, 6'9", he could be maybe at that second ladder of those 2 picks. Big, physical, rebounds the ball. I think he's going to be a terrific player. And then right there, Nate Ament. 6'10", 7-foot wingspan, can drive it. Reminds me a little bit of KD because of his high release point. He's going to be an elite offensive player, deep range. And then you got that guy right there, Yaxel Lenenborg. He's 24 years old. Forget about how old he is. He's got a little Josh Hart in his game. He's tough. He's physical. He can shoot the ball, rebounds the basketball, and is an elite 3-position defender. Can defend anyone on the floor. So you look at Morris Johnson as a rebounder, maybe Lenenborg or Nate Ament. I think those 3 guys will be in the conversation for those 2 positions.
Okay, leading up to, of course, the trade conversation, there was plenty of buzz that the Celtics were in talks with the Bucks to acquire Giannis, and Jaylen Brown's name was brought up. This is not the first time Jaylen Brown's name has been brought up for a major trade. We saw that a few years ago with Kevin Durant, and Jaylen Brown's still part of the Celtics. What's next for Boston?
Well, Boston is going to be involved in trade talks. Now, they're not going to shop him. They're not going to be making outgoing calls, but they're not going to need to, because everybody in the league knows he was offered, that Boston is willing potentially to break up the duo of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The calls are going to come into Boston. And look, in the last couple of days, Kevin, as we were waiting for Milwaukee to make the decision, almost all the conversations I was having with executives in the league was, who is going to bid for Jaylen Brown if the Celtics aren't chosen here? I suspect there's pre-made offers that will be made to the Celtics. It's even possible, I don't think likely, but even possible Jaylen Brown could be traded tonight. I think that there's a really good chance that by the time the fall comes, Jaylen Brown will be on another team.
And if he's gone, they've got to find a way to fill that void. And they got to find someone that complements Jason Tatum. I think Brad Stevens saying, like, these two guys here, we won a championship together, but we've got to find someone that is a better complement if we're going to win the Eastern and have a chance to win the NBA championships. I think they have to find some size, some physicality to complement Jason Tatum. The other thing they need is they need a starting point guard. I think Peyton Pritchard is a terrific guy to bring off the bench, instant offense, knocks down shots, brings a toughness to their perimeter defense at times on the ball. But I think those are two areas that they need to fill. If you're going to give up a player like Jaylen Brown, a guy that's in conversation for MVP, all right, you've got to get legitimate return on that investment. One could be draft choices. The other thing could be they need help now if they're going to be a team that everyone thinks can compete for an NBA championship.
Let's talk about the number one pick here tonight. This is not a Cooper flag. Decision's already been made. Let's move on here, because you could make a case for 1, 2, 3, even 4 guys to be the number one pick. What's the latest you're hearing right now?
Yeah, the Wizards have done a great job of keeping their cards close to the vest, and I think that they're doing that so that they never know when somebody might call them and give them an offer to move up. They invested $200 million in Trae Young to be their franchise point guard. Now, Darren Peterson can play point guard, but he can also play off guard. Making that investment in Trae Young doesn't necessarily mean that it won't be Peterson that they call first. But most people in the league believe it would make sense with balancing out that roster with the major investment to Anthony Davis as center, the major investment to Trae Young as guard, the other players they have on the roster that they've drafted over the last couple of years. AJ Devansa fits.